Hello, friends. Welcome to the Career Guru Podcast. I am your host, Steve Yanofsky. What a glorious day it is to start your path with a new career. Doors are opening here at the Boston Career Institute even as we speak. And I'm here holding the key for you. So tune in, stay sharp, and enjoy yourself. This is going to be great. Hashtag Let's Career Up.
Greetings, my friends, career gurus, conversationalists, aspiring career gurus, all across the fruited plain. And I think during one of our podcasts, we've already explored what across the fruited plains actually means. All across the United States, I guess, would be another way to say it, but I like the fruited plain. So, in any case, I am glad to be back, and I'm glad to be alive. Nothing bad has happened, but, every so often and periodically we're reminded that being alive is already a victory. Alive and in good health is a major victory. So welcome. If you can hear me, then everything is A-OK. And if you could see me, I'm giving you a thumbs up. Good thing to be on the right side of grass. I don't mean to sound morose. I'm actually sounding quite optimistic. The guru is actually in quite a mood. Why? Because yesterday I had someone who disrupted my thinking and shook me to a core. I ran into dare I say, a student of mine who rocked my world with an interesting perspective on life, and it's something that I wanted to share. And I gave that student a piece of my mind, and I was very blunt about it. Usually I am relatively polite and politically correct, but this time I went all out because I couldn't deal with it anymore. It turns out that I ran into a professional victim. And this is something that we haven't talked about before, at least I don't recall doing so, but it prompted me to clean off the dust off of the old mic here and call up my sound engineer and says, let's do an impromptu recording of the Career Guru podcast and deal with victimhood and victimhood mentality. And I think this particular subject is good for several episodes. Actually, we could spend a whole year talking about victims and victimhoods and the mentality and how this mentality can ruin your professional career. This is something, this conversation was almost surreal to me. I've heard just about every excuse in a book uttered in the span of 15 minutes. And in reality, being a victim it's the easiest thing in the world to be a victim. I've mentioned it many times before that it's very easy to be beat down. It is so complicated and difficult sometimes to be upbeat. It's the easiest thing in the world. People think that when you're laid out in front of you all these excuses and the victimhood mentality and so on and so forth, that life is so hard for that person. No, it's easy. You don't have to do a darn thing. You're staying in that funk. And that's where the body tends to gravitate to going without direct involvement of a person's spirit to push you forward. We talked about this before, but again, it's a reminder. And this thing really shook me to a core. So what are these terrible things about? What's wrong with being a victim? Well, it leads to nothing good. The focus is never on a solution. It's always the problem. It always damages your reputation because nobody wants to deal with you. It limits you in so many ways, it's not even worth thinking about. I mean, it's worth thinking about it and challenging yourself. It makes you sick. This mentality makes you sick, and it makes everyone around you sick. It makes you miss so many opportunities. It is incredible. It prevents you from developing your skills, reinforces your personal negative self-image about you. Why? For what possible reason would you want to do that? You got to take charge. You got to take the reins of control of your life and go from the darkness towards the light. And in this particular case, the light of victory over victimhood. What did I hear yesterday? what struck this negative chord with me when I spoke to this person. And it happens quite frequently, but yesterday there was just a lot coming from this individual who was just down on himself and everyone else at a ripe old age of mid-20s. The time when you are most productive, most optimistic. The world hasn't given you this negative streak, this, I'm at a loss for a word, but I believe you know what I'm talking about, when you become so sarcastic in this world. You haven't encountered that by age 25 yet. By 30, yeah, you've received your lumps. By 25, everything should be sunshine, Skittles, a day at the beach. You're not encumbered by anything except your personal growth. Everything is just great. So that struck a chord. It really touched a nerve. I don't mind telling you, I went all out on this a young man, and I really don't feel bad about it, because I hope I had moved him. But it's entirely possible that he might just use it and become an even bigger victim. So how do you identify a person who is steeped in victimhood? Well, first and foremost, you will hear statements of blame towards others, whether it's people or circumstances. It's not my fault, the person will always say. It's not my fault. If they had only done their job, I'd be fine. Something like that. The management set me up to fail. They have always had it out for me. Oh, poor me. Woe is me. Then, of course, it's the unfairness card. Some people get all the opportunities. I'm just not one of them. Oh, I wish it were me just once. Then I would really score. I never get the same support as others. The system is rigged against me. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. I heard it all yesterday. I heard it yesterday. And incredibly enough, there's always an excuse. I couldn't do it. No one helped me. I didn't have time. I didn't have money. I didn't have the resources. So what's the use? What's the point? I'm just going to go about my, worthless, miserable existence because everybody has it out for me. I was waiting for someone to help me. I was waiting for someone to give me the go-ahead, but that never came. See how that works? No initiative, no desire, no drive. And of course, being able to very easily to generalize negative experience. Like, it always happens to me, right? Always. This always happened to me. No matter what this is, it always happens to me. I've tried it before and it never works out. Yeah, all the great things. Look at all the things. I've sat there feverishly taking notes after I was through with my conversation. I was typing this up, getting ready to, put this out. Yeah. No matter what I do, it's never enough for them. Wow. I mean, again, all of this, almost without exception, came out of the mouth of that one particular individual. And of course, avoiding accountability is another wonderful thing, right? They misunderstood me. It's not my problem. It's their problem. It's their fault. Not my fault. Their fault. So not accepting responsibility, not being accountable for anything. It's not my job to fix their mistakes. If they want it done differently, they should have told me. In some cases it's true, but you know what? When this is the whole point of your existence, you got a problem there. And of course, the same person in the same breath can hide behind all of these things and in a straight face tell you that you don't understand what I'm dealing with right now. And I got a notion to tell you folks. We all have our issues that God has heaped upon us with the desire for us to succeed, not to fail and to hide behind them. Everyone is dealing with something. You look at a person, they're walking around with a smile on their face. You don't see the pain behind the smile. The stories that I've heard, the things that I have encountered personally, the people I know who are dealing with personal tragedies, enough to make someone curl up in the fetal position and suck their thumb. Not that there's anything wrong with that. No, well, the guru doesn't like this sort of behavior. But sometimes when some kind of a tragical situation happens, yeah, you can see yourself, cowering in a corner somewhere under a blanket, wondering, if the world is coming to get you. But at some point in time, you got to, take that cover off and get out there and do stuff. I have met incredibly heroic people. You would never know who they are. They have tremendous amount of personal challenges. Tremendous amount of personal challenges. When I hear their stories in my capacity, they're my students. When I hear their stories, especially the single moms out there, and you listen to the kind of stuff that they go through and they still have a smile on their face, and then they go on with life, they go to work, they put on a happy face and they work, and they come home, they hug and kiss their children, and sometimes they go to the hospital to try to hold their children and kiss them. And they can't because they're in some kind of a device that even their mother can't touch them. And you'd never know because they're walking down the street smiling. But the people who have seemingly everything without any issues, they can be a victim of circumstance, victim of people, victim of anything. These are the people who blame their parents for having conceived them and given birth to them because they didn't ask to be here. Yeah. Stuff like that does happen. I believe there was a lawsuit where children sued their parents. Yeah, people use anything as a shield. With everything going on in my life, they will say, I can't be expected to focus on my work, be it a job, be it your homework. Our conversation was about homework. And it was just an incredible thing that really rattled the guru. And the guru doesn't get rattled quite so quickly. Guru has a lot of patience, and I tried to help, but this was just too much. This was too much for me. People should cut me some slack, given my situation. You see how people use and they hide behind all of these things? Folks, it's not the way to go through life. It's not the way to go through life. People also find themselves the victims in their mentality, definitely find ways to undermine any kind of a positive change that may happen to them personally or professionally. Words like, we've never done it this way before, so it won't work it won't work for me, it won't work for anyone. I'm not going to do it. We never done it before, that means we're not going to do it now. We're not going to be successful. We're going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, as they say. That's easy for you to say, they will say. You're not in my position. I wonder what position that may be. But no matter what, if you want to succeed, you have to figure out what position you want to be in. Why should I bother if no one else cares? Oh, you should bother because you should care. And that's enough for you. So get cracking. I apologize for my rather unnerved presentation today. I wanted to bring this out into the open, and I do want to spend some time talking about this. But I need to get this out of my system because I think my head would have exploded if I kept it in for one more day. Again, right after my conversation yesterday, I sat down and, to pen the points for today's conversation, and I'm glad I got it out of my system. It was killing me. It was killing me. And I bet you can identify the things that I just talked about, either in your own life, in the life of people you know. And I'd be curious to hear your stories. Reach back out to me here. Let me know. Let's see if we can discuss it at one of our podcasts. And how, most importantly, how you were able to get out of this funk. How did you get out from the darkness and into the light? I'd like to hear that from you. So I'm looking forward. Well, and on a positive note, we're going to discuss how to get out of this. Now, we've talked about many of these things before, but we're going to talk about it again. Okay? And I promise you, this is going to be great for all of us, because everyone has a touch of this victimhood mentality in them, just a touch. And we need to deal with it, because there's absolutely no need to live with it. It is a very destructive force. And on that note, I'm going to bid you farewell until next time. And we're going to get together and discuss the power of stepping out from victimhood mentality. And I'll be right here to show you the light as your career guru. All the blessings to you, and talk to you soon.
Well, friends and aspiring career gurus, this was fun. Thank you for tuning in. I feel enlightened, I feel empowered, and I'm feeling grateful that we spend time with you. For more information about Boston Career Institute, please visit our website, bostoncareer.org. Boston Career Institute has 3 campuses located in Brookline, Massachusetts, Malden, Massachusetts, and Lowell, Massachusetts. Call our toll-free number, 888-383-6058. For questions, comments, and/or information about our podcast, email me at thecareerguru@bostoncareer.org. The Career Guru podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, bostoncareer.org, or wherever you stream your podcast. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your rating and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by PodPro Entertainment, The Career Guru lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. Hashtag the new radio. Looking forward to seeing you soon. All the best to you. My name is Steve Yanofsky. I am the Career Guru. May God bless you. Hashtag let's career up.